Hey, good evening and welcome to Outside the Box. I'm your host, Caleb Gaia, and we're going to have a doozy for you guys tonight. Just wondering, Tony wasn't sure if he's going to make it tonight, and no problem. I think there's more than enough to talk about. Peter, have I got you live there or what?
You sure do. We're running hot.
We're running hot, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I don't even know where to begin. We've uncovered a lot of really neat stuff, and I was visiting an individual today, and I know exactly why I was there, and we'll discuss this a little bit as well, because what we're going to be talking about tonight is all about, how do you put it?
The direct theft of your birthright.
Yeah, exactly. And I have one other caller in here, area code 801, somewhere in Canada. Anyway, I'm going to bring you live to the phone for a sec. Just want to find out who it is, and I'd like to post you there and see what's going on. So area code 801, first three numbers 326. Okay, just making your mic hot. You there? Area code 801. I don't know who that is. We have one caller on the line, so whoever is called in other than Peter, your mic is hot. Can you let us know who it is? Okay, well,
probably a government entity. That's all right. They can get educated too.
Oh, absolutely, and that's what it's all about. But anyway, it's code 801 326 is the three numbers, and just hung up. And
like I say, probably a government entity. Yeah, that's all right. Stay on the line there. We're going to give you an education how their birthright got stolen too. They didn't get the memo, obviously.
Yeah, and I will say this: I did do a reverse number lookup, with what I do constantly. Anytime anyone calls me in any way whatsoever, so and it's a reverse look was listed for it. So that's always an interesting perspective. Yeah. Anyway, that's okay. I do my homework. So I'm just going to do more quick little things. And let me get to business. We're talking about the BC scam tonight and a couple of listings. Yeah, there was no listings for it, but I have the number, so I'll keep that in check. So it could be a phone for all I know. It doesn't matter, but just let people know that we're not flats here. We pay attention. Okay, so Peter, where do you want to begin with regards to the BC scam? You want to take it from the top? I should tell everyone that the document that we're speaking about tonight is available for those who don't have it. It's a 14-pager, I believe.
Yeah, it is a 14-pager. It's also available for public consumption at suijuris.me. It's on our cover page under Step 3. It's the last document with an icon in blue saying birth certificate scam, and it's the actual birth certificate securitization scam, which was posted about a month and a half ago.
Okay, and there's also a couple of other websites, mine, which is loveovermind.wordpress.com, and another WordPress site dedicated strictly to Bond Remedy, and it's bondremedy.wordpress.com. Just as it sounds, all one word. loveovermind.wordpress.com, bondremedy.wordpress.com. On the Love Over Mind, you can go to the Court Remedy tab, and everything that we speak of, any of the documents, and then some, are on that link. So please feel free to download at will. The information's there, and we're here to clarify it so that we can help you take control of your ship on battle until we can get out. I do have to make an announcement. I am a member of Divine Province. There you go. Set that up yesterday.
Very good.
Yeah, we're all good. We're all go. I'm going to bring the doc up on my computer here, Peter, and I'm just.
Which I have done as well.
Yep, I'm going to let you get going here and tell the good listeners exactly what they need to know.
Exactly. Well, that's why we posted it. I may read a little fast. Y'all got to listen a little fast. However, It's available for consumption for all, so they can read it at their leisure, one word, one paragraph at a time, so they can get with the program and wrap their brain around how everything is hypothecated and securitized right from the very beginning.
Well, no excuses. We gave them the links to have it, and they've had plenty of time. If they're on the computer listening, which obviously they are, just go to any one of those three websites, Sui Juris, SUIJURIS.me, which is the third page, Peter, yes?
Yeah, well, it's actually it's on the cover page, but it's the third step of the 5-step process, and it's the last document on the third step.
Okay.
It's called birth certificate scam, to abbreviate it sort of, but they should be able to click on the icon, and it'll open it up, and they can save it as a download to hand off to their DAs and their judges and all that stuff.
Oh, and something before we go on here, you get this out because I had another little epiphany when I got back here. You know, you've seen all these town hall meetings where people are getting physically removed for, you know, speaking truth. You've seen those videos and what have you, right? Well, I'm going to tell people why, because what most people aren't aware of, and this is why you need to pay attention to what Peter's talking about tonight, but what most people aren't aware of is that the mayor of every city, municipality, town, I don't care, whatever their jurisdiction is, that mayor, whatever area they rule over, they are absolutely responsible for all Crown agents in that area and all contained within their jurisdiction. And they include lawyers. And I don't care if I'm out of jurisdiction. When they're on that mayor's jurisdictional area, that mayor is responsible for everything that comes out of their face and every action they do. So I need people to know that lawyers, judges, everything else, because the fact is mayors are an elected judge. They hold mayor's court. They call it a town hall meeting, but that's court. That's why they have people there to physically remove others. Because when you go into a town hall meeting, you're going into court. You're going into the mayor's court because all the aldermen are there, and they have a court recorder, which is the recorder or the register or the clerk or whatever that's taking minutes because it is a corporate activity. It is a corporation meeting, okay? And the mayor is the highest judge in every one of those jurisdictions. They are the ones that are culpable, accountable completely, and for all their actions that are taken by any of their agents, whether they're directly employed by the city or on that land. And you need to get this, because this is where you go to risk management services, and every city has one. Every municipality has one. And this is where you go to make the mayor accountable. And you want to be going looking for that particular bond. Okay? They have insurance for that. And this is where we're going to get into Peter. So I just wanted to get that out there. I just thought that was something to try to find why people get removed from town hall meetings, because you're actually in court. Okay? So pay attention, people. Peter's got the truth.
Keep it out there.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Between phone calls, Skypes, I get pounded.
I know. Peter, we're all getting hammered right now because people are awakening at a pace I have not seen yet. It's beautiful. So let her rip, my friend.
Yep. Well, folks, for those that got the document, it's a beauty. This is put together by a brother named Bill, and he put it in a succinct, easy to understand capacity for everybody to get on the page on literally the ultimate screwing of the American people. But they've got you classified as another capacity that most are not aware of. However, this will pull the curtain back for all parties involved. As a matter of fact, feel free to copy this ad infinitum. There's no copyright on it. And hand it off to your clerks of the courts, your DAs, your judges, so that they know that the sheep are not still dead asleep when they know that they're screwing their eyes out. So this is hey folks, this is your wake-up call. Yeah, you know what? Y'all don't like the way the game's going. I've got another video I'm going to post as well, Kate, before the show's over. And it's on the CAFR accounts, the second set of books that our lovely government keeps in its capacity to keep the sheep dumbed down, and that's 2 sets of books. That's another show we could do. It's incredible. Yeah, matter of fact, we got to do that for another show. I have a video, it's 15 minutes, with a gentleman named Jerry who gives a nickel tour of the basically the harvesting of the profits nationwide. And there's well over $110 trillion in those accounts, and they are crying poverty. They're lying through their dadgum teeth. And it's called the CAFR account, CAFR .1. There's actually a website called CAFR1.com with Walter Burian out of Arizona. Does an excellent job of breaking it down. However, if you're not a CPA, he'll lose you pretty quick. But I've got another video I'll post for you that's a 15-minute overview that will even give the fundamental men and women who don't have a fundamental understanding of how a second set of books works. However, if you keep a second set of books, they send you to jail. They keep a second set of books, and they put all the money and the profits in their pocket through the corporations. And they've got a pile. They got a nice pile. Matter of fact, Jesse Ventura covered that well when he was in an office. In his legislature, they were fixing to lay a tax upon the masses in the state of Minnesota when he was governor, and he blew their doors in basically by making them aware that, hey, we don't need to lay another tax on the backs of our brothers and sisters. We have plenty of money right here. And he pulled up the CAFR account, which had millions and millions of surplus funds, and all the legislature's jaws dropped because he actually knew what the hell the CAFR was. Here's a man, ex-Navy SEAL, of course. Yeah, the Navy's always involved in this Admiralty crap. You gotta love it. But it's, the irony is that he broached the subject with his legislature, and he said, we will not be laying any more claim on the backs of our folks in the state of Minnesota, at least not on my watch. And we got plenty of funds right here. And this is the funny part about the whole situation, folks. Yeah, they've considered everything that you own abandoned property, so they'll fleece you until your butt falls off, kick you out of your house, make you homeless living under a bridge. But they got tons of money. They got more money than God. They've been stealing it from the masses from the very beginning. Hell, matter of fact, they've been producing the CAFR account documentation since 1946. As a matter of fact, any of you get a while here, pull up the CAFR for your county. I pulled up mine in about 30 seconds. Every county has a CAFR account, and it's easily postable because they have to post it by law because they're public funds. However, they do play hide the sausage real well, so you almost got to be a CPA to figure out what the real dollar amounts are. But they've got lots. They're not hurting, but yet they will show you the debit side of the column and show that they're broke every year, so they can lay another 10% surplus tax upon your property that they say that you don't own, and fleece you for some more funds. Anyways, I'm just getting warmed up, Kate. I'm getting a little excited. I forgot to take my medication today.
Yeah, no problem. And I just wanted to, I've got Cynthia Q, who is instrumental in helping get the word out over Mind, WordPress.com, and now Bond Remedy. WordPress.com. So I'm going to bring in for a few minutes to see maybe she's got something she wants to ask, and always has really good questions. So Cynthia, I'm bringing in here before we really put on this, but we got to cover this document. So here you go. I'm going to make it. Your mic is now hot.
Hi. I really didn't mean to. I was just listening because on sometimes the internet I have some problems, but just wanted to let folks know in general that I did throw together Bond, B-O-N-D, Court, C-O-U-R-T, Remedy, R-E-M-E-D-Y, .wordpress.com, so that anything specific to the Bond Court Remedy can basically go there as a one-stop shop.
And you just told it correctly. I'm so pumped right now. BondCourtRemedy.wordpress.com. So just so people know that are listening, BondCourtRemedy.wordpress.com. Irish, get over it. What's your excuse? Anyway, so that's a great information to have for people, and we're trying to make everything streamlined. And what you're is doing tonight is, and myself and Cynthia is, we're trying to make this easy to understand for you. So this show you can download after the show is done. If you have any questions regarding the show, just listen to it again, and so we're going to give you the answers. They are here. So it'll save us a whole lot of time. We have many people that are constantly on us about stuff. So we would appreciate that before you tag us with questions and what have you. Listen to the last few Outside shows, and I tell you, there's not many questions that haven't been answered. So there you go. I'll mute your mic, Cynthia, if you want to jump in at any time. Just let me know through Skype, and I'll bring you on board. And Peter, let her rip.
All right. Yeah, I was just looking for my CAFR information that was so succinctly put together. Hopefully I can find it when maybe I'll let you run the ball for a little bit as we go so that I can search it, and I'm going to post it in your Skype so you'll have it. It'd be an excellent thing to post for the mass consumption, because everybody's got to know. Hey, I mean, they don't want to steal from us, do they?
No, definitely not all the time.
I mean, they believe in truth and full disclosure and all that stuff. I mean, hey, they're operating with honesty and integrity, are they not?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Right,
is my sarcasm showing? I think it is. Just like my slip. Oh well.
Yeah.
And I do have
sarcasm.
good news. I really good news, and I'm pretty excited. The individual I went to see today gave me a purpose I need back in my house, and I will be there because I have a brand new puppy. So there you go.
Well, let's
I got my puppy home.
Yep. I guess we can maybe start following the bouncing ball. Basically, for those who got the document, this is straight from the document. It's an easy follow. It's easily digestible. We started the introduction, and basically it starts with there was a time when the joyous event of childbirth was recorded in the family Bible to signify the child's status as a member of the family's posterity with implied rights of an heir. Well, to this day, the family Bible remains a lawful record that is recognized in the legal system. Anyways, in 1933, when most privately held gold was confiscated by the Federal Reserve under Executive Order 6102, and the obligations payable in gold were outlawed under HJR 192, Public Law 73-10, the substance-backed economy was replaced by a financial system based upon IOUs, which is currently failing under the weight of its own nature. What is nature? Like Seinfeld, very simply nothing. Empty promises to pay backed by fraudulent presumptions of informed consent. That's your signature, folks, your sin. When you put it on any paper, that's what they hypothecate. And anyways, it's an economy where the books always add up to zero, where their very nature of bookkeeping had to be altered to disguise the void double-entry bookkeeping, where the notion of a single entry to explain your purchase of a pack of gum was apparently inadequate to hide the theft of your money, where every asset is also entered as an offsetting liability, where the law itself had to be replaced by commercial hypocrisy, where the sum total of all activity in every government-licensed institution, bank, court, and corporation equals zero each and every day, where transactions once involved the exchange of goods and services of equal value now involve just merely the exchange of securities of equal value, which is nothing, as the term value is defined in inferior statutory law. How do you like them apples so far, Kate?
No, that's pretty much sitting at home. That's why we need people to understand not only what the courts are doing, but where the courts really are. And this is the putting the 2 + 2 together and getting the out of the ballpark over the big green monster home run. Goodbye, Mr. Spalding. So once we have, and we have it now, we have what we need to be aware of, and now who to be made aware of. This is where the plausible deniability becomes not so plausible anymore. And that's what we have to do. And this is not about going to work. Peter and I have talked about this many times. This is not about, I'm going to get even, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. No, that's not your job, because your job is to be the observer. But once you realize what a truth is, you have an obligation by this permission to stand in it. And if you witness a crime and do nothing about it, you are as guilty as the criminal that did it. And this is where we're at. This is the docilation of the masses and how sheepish people are, where they will not. Very, very few will stand in the face of it. Peter has, I have, Cynthia, so many others have. And we need to give people the empowerment. This is what we're trying to do. This is not telling you to go and put on the black armor like the cops and all the rest and do, or get out and start smashing heads. No, it's not about that, because these guys don't know what's going on. And once we get enough of them in the know of what it is that's really going on, where they've been settling for table scraps, less than table scraps, they think they're getting a great deal, but they're being bought off with such minimal. It's already said it's all zeros.
Yep.
You know, so I've got the document open, the BC scam. I wasn't sure if you were actually reading from it or what you were reading.
I was. I don't have a tax to memory. I'm not that good.
Okay. Whereabouts are you on it so we can keep everyone exactly where you are?
Yeah, we're just straight up in page 1. I'm actually at the bottom last paragraph, and I'm fixing to go to page 2.
Got it.
Let's follow it through. This is going to get exciting, folks. You're going to get some meat and potatoes education here tonight. This is the stuff you're not supposed to read. It's the stuff you're not supposed to know. I give kudos to Brother Bill, who put this document together, because I couldn't have done it any better myself. And he actually laid it out into capacity where I could actually understand it. And I'm just a high school grad. So I'm sort of a slow dog sometimes. So sometimes I got to read things 2 or 3 times to get on the page so I can absorb the concepts that are being brought forth. And the same probably goes for others out there as well as myself. So let's move forward. And I love this. This is beautiful stuff. The last paragraph starts off just like Seinfeld, the world suffers not so much an economy as a comedy of errors. Perhaps more correctly, a comedy of frauds wherein the concept of value is established by words on the page instead of the perceived value of goods, service, and labor at hand, where up is down, black is white, and timeless immorality is perfectly legal. Because everything's legal, folks. That's why they got a legal system, not a lawful system. We can screw you in the legal system because you're a dead entity. You don't have rights. You just have benefits and privileges that we can remove from your purview at any time that you're not being a good, compliant slave. I love it. Yeah, nothing like a little control mechanism to keep all the sheep in line. It's all good. Anyways, let's move forward. It is a well-established fact that the United States is defined as a corporation in Section 3002. I like this guy. He actually gives some meat and potatoes and reference points. Gee, he's not just spewing forth rhetoric off the top of his head. Anyways, that would be in a corporation in Section 3002 of the Judiciary Code, meaning that the United States judiciary operates under the global presumption that the United States is a corporation, notwithstanding periodic attempts by learned attorneys at law to treat this fact casually. Gee, go figure, they treat it casually. I wonder why that is.
Another interesting word in there that people just kind of blow past, notwithstanding clause. Look at the word as it is. It means notwithstanding. Okay? There's no standing in it. Anytime you come across a notwithstanding clause, that's what we're saying. Everything that is within this, notwithstanding, they're telling you that it's absolutely useless and worthless. So, pay attention. Carry on.
Yep. And then we go into, so what is a corporation? In essence, nothing. A construction of words on pieces of paper, a contrivance without a soul, sentience, or conscience. The question becomes, how does an unconscious piece of paper, corporation, operating in an economy without substance, control the population of living, flesh and blood men and women under original public trust charter? Well, the answer is self-evident. Organized commercial fraud, which applies ancient edifices of commercial sleight of hand, such as legal fictions, certifications, registrations, and securitizations to achieve outcomes which would otherwise be impossible, and certainly repugnant to the founders. Translation, the machine harnesses the people's commercial energy through a matrix of scripted distractions and diversions wherein fraud, falsehood, and fallacy supplant the law until amnesia has become endemic. I was in the medical field. Does anybody know what endemic means? Okay, I didn't think I was going to get any answers. All right, folks, it's like you've heard of pandemic. Well, endemic is pretty much the whole general population as a whole. If you have a flu pandemic, it's going to thousands. Endemic means pretty much the whole system as it stands on its own. Anyways, now that we're following the bouncing ball, let's move further. The system is known as the legal system, a profit-inspired veneer for the universal system of voodoo accounting, explained in this article, the Uniform Securitization Scheme, which runs invisibly as the operational schematic that underlies all public events, be it the birth of a baby, the issuance of currency, economic bailouts, a court case, a purchase, a loan, a mortgage, or real estate transaction. Without your awareness, virtually every event of your life which involves a public institution has been covertly superimposed on the underlying uniform securitization scheme revealed in this article, so that the actual events are invisible. So the USS, the Uniform Securitization Scheme is the exact same process used by banks to pledge your credit card and your loan applications as a surety for certificates and notes issued by their subsidiaries and sold to investors. Patriot mythology has held that these loan applications are actually securities. As will be revealed in this instance, this legend is true. Go figure. Anyways, the evidence is contained in every Rule 424B5 prospectus filed by every bank with the SEC. A Bank of America flowchart published in the back, which is on this document in 2010 SEC prospectus, is included in Appendix B to graphically demonstrate the universality of this scheme. This chilling roadmap to the scam may be helpful to review as you read about the pledges, certification, redeposit, and various techniques that comprise the scam. Folks, if you don't know what a scam is, you've been scammed. This is what this is. This is a one big, massive scam. They are the masters of deception. Anyways, to understand the USS scheme is to understand the commercial world around you and the banks, government agencies, and courts that seek to control your life. The author has no objection if a copy of this article is sent to every judge trust on the federal and state benches and every political prisoner in America.
Consider it done.
The fuel behind... Huh?
Consider it done. And by the way, I just wanted to mention that our caller, they were back, now they're gone again. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, we're good. We're good. That's
right.
A number, so it keeps popping up and going on. I think it might be a cell phone having some issues.
All right. Very, very good. Now we're going on to almost page 3. We're moving forward. The fuel behind this is called the Uniform Securitization Scam. Part 1, it says, the fuel behind the United States Federal Corporation, the underlying premise behind every transaction in which you have participated, is the presumption that your labor has been voluntarily pledged to pay the debts of the United States, the public debt. Is this presumption factual or wild concoction of misguided conspiracy theorists? Is it even remotely possible the founders' descendants are captured as sureties for the escapades of their public officials? Well, the answer will soon be clear. It will be found by exploring a series of legal maneuvers known as legalization, registration, certification, securitization, and general deposit, which comprise the essence of the scheme. That same scheme is used at every stage of the matrix, from the construction of the birth account to the reverse mortgage you sign on your deathbed. To understand this scam is to understand loans, mortgages, purchases, deeds, and all other mirror image substitutions for good old-fashioned truth. So we move on to subsection 2 on page 3, the pledge of future performance, security futures. Almost immediately, the blessed event of the delivery of an infant is marred by using its right foot to make an impression on a hospital birth record. The HBRs provides public testimony of the baby's birth on the continent and status as an owner of the United States. Yeah, right. Contrary to popular opinions, ownership is not control. In the legal system, ownership is defined as a pledge to act as a surety for the debts incurred by the property. In other words, folks, they gave you all the liability. That's why it's an LLC, and limited liability corporation. You don't want to be in one of those. and that's why we moved over. That's why I moved my butt over to the Divine Province. I will operate my full commercial liability, and it's a much easier road to toe. Anyways, in the case of the United States, that doctrine is enshrined in Article 6 of the Constitution, which says all debts contracted and engagements entered into before the adoption of this Constitution shall be valid against the United States under this Constitution as under the Confederation. In other words, the act of registering the child with the United States Federal Corporation through a government-licensed hospital comprises the owner's pledge of future labor. The full faith and credit that underwrites all U.S. currency and public debt under the ancient doctrine that ownership equals liability. So I don't want to own crap. I don't know about you folks. I don't own crap anymore, and it's good not to own nothing, because he who owns it or claims ownership has the liability. I know this is a foreign concept for y'all. You're going to have to read this a couple times to really get it, but you'll get it. Anyways, after all, who else but the owners would be motivated to pay the bills? For the sake of skeptical friends and family, here are the sound bites. Who else but the people of the United States stand behind U.S. currency? Does the issuance of a U.S. hospital birth record signifies one responsibility to pay taxes and underwrite the public debt? It sure does. So 3, opening an account. The birth record is delivered to the incorporated county for the purpose of transmitting the infant's pledge into the legal system under the 14th Amendment. What happens when you transfer property? What must you do when you make a purchase on the Internet? What's the first step in creating a commercial relationship with your doctor, bank, and phone company? They open an account in your name. Is it, folks, you starting to get a little clarity now? Anyways, as with any asset, the incorporate county, as the receiving institution, must open an account and log it in. That's the reason for my birth certificate bond with them beautiful red digits on it on the bond paper. The county registrar opens an account in the county's books. As you will discover, the sole purpose of every account that has ever been opened in your name is to leverage, i.e. issue, future securities. You are unaware of this because you are unaware of the definition of securities. If anybody hasn't read the negotiable instruments laws, it's an excellent read. You can attach it, just pull it up on the computer. You can find the negotiable instruments laws anywhere. You just open it up on the computer. Anyways, they're hiding it right in front of you. Anyways, opening an account is a boilerplate event in the uniform securitization scam when any bank, court, corporation, or government institution seeks to assess the owner with a portion of the public debt and tap into your estate to pay the assessment. Gee, Kay, I wonder why the hell this guy's talking about an estate. Gee, I think I heard that somewhere before.
Well, maybe. It's like the E-state, and I like to bring this up. I'm glad you said that. E before a word means no state, so it's actually a condition of no state. All right, so you are actually without a state by having an E-state, which is of course corporate. Go figure. What are the odds?
Well, hey, let's move forward. I'm getting excited now.
Yeah, you're having fun. You keep rocking, Peter. We're going to tear some new ones after we get through this document. Try to put it even more understandable for people and how they've been getting screwed.
Yeah, well, I'm already on page 4, so I know I'm not reading too fast. I'm trying to pace myself.
You're doing great. No, this is perfect. And people, follow the bouncing ball. You have the document and access to it. So please feel free to, once you have the document, follow along with Peter and myself here and read it again and again. Listen to the show again and again with it. We don't need to hold your hand. We already are right now. So
yeah, it doesn't get any easier in this case. This is called Follow the Bouncing Ball. I love to teach Follow the Bouncing Ball. It works for me, and it'll work for...
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't get any easier than this, and all we're trying to do, and you've heard Pete and I rant off about, more of this, more. We're talking about the ego program, okay, not the people. It's the program that's the idiot, okay? Everyone that's listening is the most beautiful photon of light, pure God energy. And you actually think that you're the program and you want to fight or something. So what we're trying to do is break that program so that this new truth can really sink in. It's been hammered for millennia. So it's going to take a bit to crack that nutshell. And, well, I'm just a bitch. Pete's just there to do it. So let's get on this. Rock and roll, Peter.
All right. Yeah, let's go on to page 4. I'm just having to put a little post on Skype because somebody likes to interject with me. I like to dialogue a little bit, so.
Yeah, well, good. That's what we're here for.
All good.
Dialogue and interject.
Oh, I'm taking my time today. Hey, this is like a good steak dinner. You know, I'm taking my time, and this is where we're going. Everybody says I talk too fast, so I just that half a Quaalude just kicked in. Nobody's got a sense of humor.
I was muted laughing. Otherwise, I'd probably drown out the mic meter. So carry on. Quaaludes and all.
All right. Page 4. Here we go, folks. Subsection 4: reducing status to a number. You gotta love numbers. As with any account, the county birth account is assigned a number, typically in the format like 3 digits, 2 digits, and then either 4 or 6 digits. Like on my birth certificate bond, it's 106, which designates my state, -60, that's my year, and 5403 is the last 4 digits on my birth certificate bond, which indicates I was a 5,403rd child born in Harford County that year. So that's an excellent tracking number. That was my tracking number for the chattel property on the slave plantation. So the digits actually mean something, folks. Anyways, the first number group identifies the corporate state. Hey, they're singing my song. The second group identifies the year of delivery. Hello, yep. And the third group identifies the transaction, meaning I was the 5,403rd transaction in Harford County that year. So that's what those numbers mean, folks. Get your birth certificate out, and you can take a look, and you'll find out what these numbers mean to you. Anyways, the birth identification number will follow the infant through his lifetime. The implications are well documented in Scripture. And Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to number Israel. 1 Chronicles 21.1. I'm not trying to get all biblical on people, but this is a reference. You may wish to read about the consequences of that event to the people of Israel. When we participate in the census for purposes other than to glorify the Lord, we can expect to be condemned. So let's go to subsection 5, recording a general deposit, relinquishing title. The registrar then records the birth record in the account as a general deposit, meaning the state takes title to the funds, your future labor/commercial energy, the same way a bank takes title to your deposits when you use a bank's endorsement stamp to print page of the order of Acme Bank on the back of a check before depositing in your account. Haven't you ever wondered why the checks are made payable to the bank instead of to your account? The pay to the order of notation is just a material alteration under the Uniform Commercial Code. Gee, I've heard that somewhere before, Uniform Commercial Code. We'll come back to that. Anyways, it creates a brand new security wherein the bank takes your funds for its own purposes and disguises the acquisition by issuing credits to your account. Yeah, there we go. It's all just digits, folks, on a computer screen. This one act is the mechanism by which the state steals the infant's divine right to her own labor and converts it into a numbered account to act as sureties for its portion of the public debt owed to the banking cartels under the Constitution. So everybody who loves that Constitution, folks, you weren't a party to it. You didn't sign the damn document. Yeah, if you're under something, then under is not a good place to be. Well, maybe in sex it is, but not in this context. Anyways, the United States now holds the pledge of the minor child's future labor deposited voluntarily by the child's mother as the foundation for all future securities it will attempt to issue in your name. The birth record is then placed into a vault at City Hall or the county seat or subsidiaries such as Vital Statistics or Vital Records. Those who are skeptical might wish to examine their own birth certificates alongside a stock or bond certificate and read the definition of securities in Section 78C of Title 15 of United States Code, subparagraph A10. The Internet provides immediate access. You can pull it off this printed document, folks. It's right there.
Talk about this document, Peter. What I'm loving about this document is the ball doesn't bounce any cleaner. People, was it Bill you said wrote this up?
Yeah, Brother Bill.
Brother Bill. Now here's a guy that sat down and it takes to pull this kind of information together, and this is a shit pile of work. And I got to tell you, that's the joy of this document. When people take the time to read it, the homework is already done for you. Follow the bouncing ball. If you don't believe what the document says, the links are there, and any of the books that are referenced here, you can get in your Library of Congress. You can get it in any university libraries or what have you. This information is there. We have, and mainly by religion. And you mentioned the Bible earlier. The reason why they use the Bible in the literal sense is because they in the courts is because they know it's absolute crap. Okay, but they do also know that the Bible is the most perfect truth if you know how to read it. It's a very, very specific mystical code, and you have to understand the grace and the metaphors that are contained within it. And that's the power. It's the ignorance. Everyone's ignorance of this truth has been what's been keeping us trapped. It's not. Don't play the role of a victim here, guys. You cannot play the role of a victim. The only thing you can claim is lack of knowledge, okay? And that's ignorance, and that comes out of sloth, comes out of laziness. Look at the seven deadly sins and go down the list and see which ones you need to correct for yourself, because no one's going to fix you, only you. So this document, Peter, is a gem of gems for people that need to just wake up. I don't want anyone to believe a damn word you're saying or what I'm saying, my friend. What I want them to do is know something and follow their own intuitive. Because we know that what's happening around us is not good. It is not conducive to a environment where creation is allowed to prosper. Because every time we as a collective start building and creating, they rape it. So people, pay attention. This document is available. If you don't believe, that's fine. All I will do is challenge and investigate it. If you cannot investigate it, then there's the door. Don't let it hit you on the way out. We cannot help you. You cannot even help yourself. So, Peter, carry on into Section 6 here, subsection 6.
Very good. Yes, legalization of your public estate. Here we go. I wonder why this guy keeps bringing up the estate thing. It seems like I heard that somewhere for that PMG guy was talking about this estate stuff, and he said it's all about the estate. And, I actually bought it. And guess what? It's the truth straight up, folks. I'm going to prove a point to you over the phone right now. Anybody want to go to subsection 6209 of the IRS code? You're going to love this. This is what gave me my epiphany, my V8 moment, for lack of a better term. When I was researching 10 years ago in reference to W-2s, W-4s, and 1099s, and I broached the issue with my sister-in-law, who is a CPA, certified public accountant. She's been, she knows what forms to use. Well, the irony is that under 6209 subsection, they have classifications of codes, and the irony is you have codes 1 through 7, and tax class 5 was a code that I said, wow, I didn't know that, because the W-2s, W-4s, 1099s that your employer sends to you and says you owe something, they're all under a tax class 5 of the code, not under tax class 2, which would be income tax. It's actually under tax class 5, which is a state and gift tax. Gee, figure it out, folks. Hey, you know what? They're telling you in your face. They're not even hiding it. That was my epiphany. That was my V8 moment that allowed me to tie the 2 and 2 estate issue together. So for all these folks out there saying, it's not about the estate and blah, 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 and the birth certificate bond, that's not real, and yeah, well, I'll tell you what. I can prove to you everything I say. I can show you everything in black and white. I can make. Hey, it's not BS. It's truth, straight up, with both barrels, and you can read it for yourself if you got the compunction to do so. So there's nothing being hidden, folks. It's hidden right in plain sight. So that's the irony of the whole situation. They really haven't been hiding it. They've been bringing it out to our face. We just didn't know how to put 2 and 2 to equal 4 together, so the math equation all fits on the estate issue. So let's follow the bouncing ball a little further. And anyways, your estate here on earth consists of your inheritance from the Creator, your body, the air you breathe, your possessions, the fruits of your labor. However, as with your name, churches, money, law and accounts of record, USA Inc. intends to create a fictional mirror image counterpart of your estate in the public venue. This process is known as legalization. So here's the irony, folks. It's a mirror. It's not what's looking back at you either. It's a mirror. When they when USA Inc. came online in 1871 and created the corporation, they created a mirror of the Constitution. They created a mirror of us, and then they started putting us up as chattel property to claim the estates that they considered that we were all decedents and dead, because it was all considered abandoned property by registering with them. They figured you didn't want it no more. So they'll be glad to not leave any stake on the plate. The vultures will be glad to eat your share, and that's the way it works. Anyways, so after the process is known as legalization, and they depositing your presumed security future pledge into a public account for the creation of securities, which legalizes your labor into a public estate. There, that damn estate thing again. Anyways, a vast account which holds the pledge of your future labor, an IOU to act as a surety for your portion of the public debt. Gee, it was ironic. I was covering bonds there, last week about Standard Form 28, the surety bond. Wow. Gee, 2 and 2 equals 4 again. I don't know how the hell I come up with this stuff.
And that was that was Wednesday with you, me, Dean Clifford, and Patrice on the call.
Yep.
And I would recommend that people grab at least the last 5 outside the box shows to really get a handle on what's going on and the passion that we are trying to convey this with. And please put your egos at the door. We have no time for people that need the strings cut on their mittens. I'm looking for strings on the ground, and I'm starting to find them, and it's a nice thing. So carry on.
Very good. Anyways, they legalize your labor into the public estate. It's a vast account which holds the pledge of your future labor, an IOU to act as surety for your portion of the public debt. Every time your straw man is charged, the government is seeking to tap into your estate to pay the assessment. Gee, drafting for performance at court. Gee, I think I covered that issue. And they get you stand into the bow and step in and become a good compliant slave and answer up to the fiction, and they get to open up and tap into the estate. Gee, who would have thought? Anyways,
here's a question for you while we're on this exact perfect timing on this, Peter. In the Judge Bows to Sovereign video, and I'm going to give, there's a lot of different assessments. Again, there's new light getting pulled out of it every day. Now, one of the things that came to mind, for lack of a better explanation, let's just say that I, at the point of turning to my left, the last bailiff, and saying, and the guy, he doesn't say much, well, his silence equates acquiescence to me. The first 2 bailiffs I had, and I use the term loosely, owned, they were my bailiffs. I had claimed them. They were on, long story, I'll do a little bit on that sometime, but just take that for what it is, because they were, and that's why the judge at that point called for a recess. Same thing. Cess is tax in Latin. Okay? And the reason why was during that video, there was an apostille copy of my bond. I was putting my money where my mouth was. I was putting my bond on the table, which I did. It was served right into the ship by a friend that was there, George. And after I owned his last bailiff, the reason why he got up and bowed was, one, he was leaving the battlefield, and of course, commercial maxims, he who leaves the battlefield first loses by default. My intuitive instinct on this, I need your feedback on this, Peter. My intuitive instinct was I'd put my money where my mouth was, my bond on the table. Now he was obligated to have his bond to match it to make any claims against me.
Gee, go figure. You mean they got to put up a matching bond so that just in case they go afoul to protect the state from any liability against you by a false charge or false presumption or false anything? So the state's actually supposed to produce their own hazard bond to bond the case before they come play ball with you? Is that what you're telling me?
I think so. And one other point I'd like to bring up on that, given the fact that I had put my bond up, and of course he was there naked without his, I knew it was, the simple fact was I had claimed my bond. It was my bond to use, and therefore anything that they had done at that point, as in all the bond forms in Canada would be bonds 504, 505, and 506, which are the bid, performance, and payment bonds, and they are construction bonds because we're dealing with a constructive trust. Don't let the words fool you. And because I had claimed my bond and was using it properly to there's the settlement of the account right there. His bond wasn't available. He bolted, smart man, coward and totally dishonorable. So there was no ignorance there. That was a willful act. So what I'm saying to people is, if you don't claim your bond in terms of your birth certificate, it's yours. You know, regardless of who owns the name or whatever, the fact is the trust was set up for you. You've just never claimed it or had the power to use it. So what I'm suggesting, and I want your feedback on this, Peter, is that when someone goes in to set the account, might they have an SF-28 or an affidavit, which of course has to be rebutted point for point under the commercial maxims, attached very neatly and appropriately to birth bond? Because now what you're doing is you're giving them the blank forms to fill out to counter that. And you want to see the rats jump off that ship, and you want to see them, the cockroaches scare when the light goes on. That's exactly what's going to happen, and Deatra proved that, did she not?
No, she proved it irrefutably. Yeah, well, the whole point is, Kate, I don't attach it to the birth certificate, the bond. The birth certificate bond is brought in so that it lets them know that there's no plausible deniability, that you understand what's going on here in their game of shake-shifter land, their bait-and-switch scam. See, because they failed to put their bond up into the game. They have no skin in the game. So it creates almost like a double jeopardy issue with you, because what they did was trick you to step into court and take on the onus. And now, instead of them having to put up their bond, they've used yours. However, that's committing fraud upon the court, because technically the DA, he who brings the charge, has to pay the bill, and he's also supposed to have put his skin in the game, i.e. the bond, to protect the state from any further liability in case he creates a malfeasant act against you, which the case is straight up out the box, because guess what? No bond, no case. No bond equals no case. So he's committed a fraud. So this is what happens is, I'm glad we're talking about this, because now I'm going to explain something. In essence, just like Dean and I were talking about the other night, is now that DA is standing in there naked with his full commercial liability hanging out, and he is literally on the hook, so he has no escape mechanism. Should you have to basically file a claim against his property, his cash, his money, his wife's beauty salon, or whatever else, because he has put himself out there in full commercial liability to being the fall guy. But what he did was he tricked everybody else to become the fall guy by answering up and stepping into the charge in the case. Charge equals versus discharge. Anyways, this is basically what's been going on, folks. It's all sleight of hand. They're supposed to have they got to have skin in the game, and they don't.
Okay, one other question then, because when I was in there for that video, there was all this talk about parking tickets. There was not one ticket issued on this. There was nothing.
Right.
You want to talk about fraud? Yeah, there was nothing there, and all of a sudden it created, out of thin air, 29 days later, apparently a couple of tickets showed up that I never saw. We'll get into that a bit further, but I thought I needed to get that across to people. And that 801 number is called in again, so I'm going to make their mic hot just to see what's going on, and then we'll continue on with the document, okay?
Sure.
So area code 801-326, your mic is hot. Let's see if you're actually there this time. Are you there? Area code 801-326.
Yeah, it's a government entity trying to play hardball.
I don't know. Maybe it's just it sounds like somebody's trying to talk, but nothing there. But anyway, I'll just put it back. I'll put it back on hold, and because I'm not hearing anything from it. So there you go. Interesting times we live in. Hey, Peter.
Yeah, I just figured maybe the mayor was trying to broach into the call because he wanted to share with us some knowledge.
Anyway, carry on, my friend. You're doing awesome. I highly doubt it, but
are we having fun? Yeah, I am really having fun tonight.
This is exactly what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun, guys. It's just a ride. We're showing you how to take care of your own ticket now, so you can have your own ride instead of someone taking you for one.
Yeah. No, they just need to get off. They just need to come divest themselves. Just a simple business administrative decision. That's all it is, and that's where they can come over to the Divine Province to make their simple business administration. They're waiting for you, folks. They want you to leave. I mean, they know if you're not happy where you're at, you have the capacity to make a decision on your own behalf to remove yourself if you don't like what they're doing with the military-industrial complex. Spending without accountability on all these black fund operations, Not that I know anything about that being in the military, but, you know, I know they got these little slush funds off to the side. It's all good. It's sort of like the CAFR accounts. Anyways, let's go back. I'm getting excited now. Let's go to this page. I guess I'm on page 6 or something. Let me see. Am I on 6 or 5? I'm slowing down. You just speed up a little bit. So everybody, you're going to have to listen a little faster. Anyways, as we were talking, the process was known as legalization off of the bottom of page 414, and we're now on 514. Depositing your presumed security future pledged into a public account. Notice it says public. For the creation of securities legalizes your labor into a public estate, a vast account which holds the pledge of your future labor, and I already covered that, an IOU to act as surety for your portion of the public debt. Anyways, every time your strawman is charged, the government is seeking to tap into your estate to pay the assessment. Your estate is merely a trust, which has been designated as insurance. Gee, insurance. Yep, that's gambling. That's insurance is like a tontine policy to underwrite the public debt and create profits and proceeds for public officials who seek to convert you from a member of the posterity they are sworn to serve into a slave subject that exists to provide them with commercial energy and position. Sort of like the mayor. Hey, we need to get the mayor on the call. I'm looking for some integration here. I'm sure you can give me some clarity. I'm going to invite some mayors onto this call.
I'll tell you, before the next few days are out, there's going to be a whole lot of mayors that are going to be getting noticed as their duty as judges. And I will bring up for anyone in Canada listening, and also with regards to the United Kingdom, we have people around the world, Australia, South America, everywhere tune into this show. Everything that has a law, a legal or a bar society member, all of this that we're talking about applies. It just applies in a different corporate sense. There is the Corporation of Germany, there's the Corporation of England, there's the Corporation of, you name it, they're all corporations. And that's why people need to understand that any involvement with the United Nations is acquiescence into the overall corporate fund, which is the World Fund. So anything to do with the United Nations, for me, is absolute dragnet trap, because it pulls everything into that one headquarters of the world called United Nations in New York. So if I see anything with United Nations on it, as far as look for acceptance or whatever, it's all corporate, it's all bullshit, it's all this, and they're trying to convince you to stay corporate, because without you, this whole system collapses. And without your signature, your ability to make them money, which is what a signature does, that's all a signature does. This system collapses.
Hollywood covered it succinctly. Your sin, your SIG. Take the G out of there, and it's your sin. They want your sin on that piece of paper so they can hypothecate it. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Just carry on for number 7 for the certification.
I'm ready. I'm ready to roll. Anyways, certification is subsection 7 on page 5. The registrar certifies the deposit of the pledge by issuing a certificate of live birth, or a certificate of birth, so-called long form, which identifies the child, the parents, the date of birth, and the date of certification, weight, and all that stuff. Anyways, this one act legalizes, there's that special word, legalizes, doesn't make it lawful, but it legalizes it, because that's fiction land, folks, legal land, the pledge by converting the presumption of pledged labor into a security, i.e. the birth certificate bond. And under Section 8-102A4 of the Uniform Commercial Code defines a certificated security as a security that is represented by a certificate. Gee, go figure. By issuing the certificate, the registrar is confessing that the hospital record is a certified security and the county is the depository institution which has taken title to the funds. So the certification, in the same process used by banks to launder your credit application into an asset to be sold to investors. The B of A flowchart in Appendix B, which is attached to this document, provides a graphic confession of the certification scam. Notice that the BA MasterCard Trust 2 is certificating subsidiary that certificates your credit card application. Yeah, folks, I bet you didn't know this one. This is now I'm getting excited. All right, Kate, I'm going to share something with you. All these people that have put in for credit card applications, you put your signature on it, they're hypothecating it. Even when they refuse you a dadgum card, they make it piles off your certification, even when they send you a decline deal. So when you go to Wally World, Walmart, any of these places where you put in for application for credit, they're certificating. That's why they offer you up a toaster or some goofy crap, carrot. They give you a carrot to get you to put your signature on your SIN on the document so they can hypothecate it. Even if they refuse you to give you any credit, they still hypothecated it into the system of records, and you gotta love it, folks. Even when they screw you, they're still screwing you some more. It's beautiful. These people are the masters of deception. Anyways, what is a credit card application? It's a pledge, folks. It's your pledge, your security future to pay the line of credit that the bank creates when they approve your credit card application. Regarding general deposit and certification, the County and Bank of America are birds of a feather. Both seek to interpret your signature as a pledge of future performance, a security future. The act of certificating the hospital birth record legalizes the infant's pledge as a security future asset for the posting as tangible funds in various public accounts, as you will see. This is a scheme by which the obligation to perform is transferred from public officials who are sworn to act as trustees of the public trust to the hapless legal citizen fiction straw man created, as you will see later, to act as a substitute trustee through the process of legalizing the infant's pledge into the public venue. You know, it's ironic. Brother Santos did the Vatican owns your soul. In the last 20 minutes, he shows you how they change hats with you to make you become the trustee. Gee, so it's amazing how all this stuff fits when you actually start following the bouncing ball.
Yeah, I worked very closely with Santo. We were step in step, basically since I met him. Something else for people, if you must sign something, do yourself a favor, or actually do us all a favor. If you put your signature on anything, put a box around it, list it off the page. They can't monetize it then, okay? Because it's actually separate from the document. You got to box it to get it off there. So if you must sign something, put a box around it. It makes it worthless. It's a non-monetized or non-negotiable instrument then. Okay, so stop them. If you have to sign something, put a box around it. That's enough to mess them up anyway.
Right, and if you're going to put your fiction crap on there, always preface it with by, B-Y with colon, and your full fiction name if you choose to, because that allows you to be the authorized agent, so thereby not creating a liability on you, but it really doesn't change much. I learned that from a banker, 17 years in the banking industry. He told me about that. He goes, yeah, when he signs stuff, he never signs it as the man. He always signs it as the acting authorized agent. Go figure. Matter of fact, if I think somebody covered this on the checks, if you can read through the check itself, if you hold it up to the light, I think it's got somewhere posting authorized agent. Anyways, just something of interest. Anyways, let's go to let's not muddy the water with the mundane. Let's go to 8, the redeposit. So here we go with the Secretary of the Treasury is notified of the pledge, the birth certificate bond, presumably by the transmission of a certified copy of the pledge certificate or electronic record of the county deposit, thereby beginning the uniform securitization scam, creating an account, making a general deposit certificate, the asset issue derivative securities as if they are tax-exempt original issues once again. The Secretary's delegate opens an account identified by the previously assigned birth certificate number for the sole purpose of leveraging issuing securities against your estate. The infant's pledge, represented by the certificate of live birth, is deposited, again generally providing the funds which future securities will be issued. This is how the corporation taps into the estate to underwrite every security that it issues, every indictment, citation, bill, bond, charging instrument, complaint, summons, arrest warrant, promissory note, or assessment and mortgage. This is why the gurus have told you everything is prepaid. Under the UCC, the term for value is defined as a prepaid account. The birth account at the Treasury is the prepaid account against which all such assessments and your set-offs and acceptances for value will be drawn. The prepayment is the long-form certificate of live birth representing the security future pledge of future labor. This is the account that supplies the funds when you mark a bill Charge to the same to John Henry Doe. This is the exclusive, elusive Treasury account prosecutors love to ridicule when prosecuting a patriot. For many patriots, this may be the first time you have understood what you've been writing in your acceptances. Without this understanding, how could you possibly hope to enforce them? The potential damage to themselves and the technology when thousands of people issue acceptances without adequate understanding of the processes and cheer each other on in Yahoo groups is self-evident. Let's go into creation of a trust. This is 9. When property is transferred, a trust relationship is created. The recipient has an obligation to perform in some fashion, such as processing an instrument, protecting the property, or delivering a bill. The recipient is therefore a trustee. Section 401 of the Uniform Trust Code. And I have matter of fact, I got the Uniform Trust Code on suijuris.me. For anybody who wants a copy, it's downloadable and free. Help yourself. It's in the education section. So Section 401 of the Uniform Trust Code confirms that a trust is created upon transfer of the property. Section 401, methods of creating a trust. A trust must be created, 1, transfer of property to another person as trustee. As with any conveyance of property, the deposit of the pledge creates a trust in which the recipient has a trustee obligation to process the instrument. This is the so-called birth certificate trust. It is not the result of some bureaucrat recording a trust, but the natural consequence of transfer. The birth trust is identified by the original birth number assigned by the county registrar, and as you will see, this number represents a variety of accounts, trusts, securities, and certificates, all derived from the original pledge. That's what I've been saying from the very beginning, you folks. You got to cut the damn Gordian knot. It all starts at the beginning. So all you folks filing out UCC crap and all this other garbage, all you're doing is creating a secondary trust, which is superseded by the primary trust. Not only that, most people, when they fill out their UCC ones, 95% don't get it right in the first place. But what you're doing is they'll be glad to tap into the secondary trust that you created under over the primary trust. But the primary trust always supersedes the secondary trust. So let's get back to the basics, folks. It's pretty simple. So now we go into reissue of secondary securities on the birth bond. This is going to get better, folks. This is some meat and potatoes. The first security issued from the Treasury account is the birth bond, which the United States uses to underwrite its currency. Like the pledge, the birth bond is a certificated book entry security future, a bet against your future performance, which is represented, i.e. noticed, into the public by a certificate. The short form birth certificate, like any bond, the birth bond is nothing more than an evidence of debt, evidence that the estate, your labor, is the surety for the infant's portion of the public debt. As you may suspect, the purpose of the birth bond is to leverage more securities using the security scam template described in this article. The profiting begins when the birth bond is traded dollar for money issued by the Federal Reserve, permitting Treasury to place the money into circulation under the premise that it is backed by the people's full faith and credit. The bond is transmitted by the Fed to the depository trust company, where it is placed into safekeeping. Hey, you know, Kate, I got a chuckle here. This is good. Yeah, because I got people who want to do business with me. You know, these corporate fictions. And I'm fixing to start writing on the damn front of it, this is the wrong mailing location, and I'm going to put down 55 Water Street in New York City because I'm sitting in a box over there down in New York City in the friggin' Depository Trust Corporation. That's the guy they want. He's on that piece of paper, that dead entity, that fiction, that security. So I'm going to just start forwarding all my mail to DTC, I think.
I think that's actually a good thing because until the DTC understands that people are catching on, it really is, and I've done my own research on the DTC. They are the true power, not the Fed Reserve. It's DTC behind it that does all the bond clearing to the tune of billions every day, and that's your life they're trading. I did want to bring up one other point, too, for people that don't believe this. Before the end of the show, I wanted to mention a website for CDOL in the UK that you can go to, a page for a manual that shows instructions on how to cash a death certificate for a bank. And I got an email today from someone from the UK. I haven't had a chance to open the documents, but they were scanned scanned copies of death certificates with the Lloyds Bank of London stamp on the back where they have been cashed. So this is real people. They're cashing in on us when we're living, and they cash out when we die. Okay, so this is from, you know, cradle to grave, guys. And the only thing you take with you from cradle to grave is your name. And
that's matter of fact, Kate, I'm glad you brought that up. My brother Bill, one of his, this guy, a gentleman up in North Dakota, his wife died, and the coroner handed him 4 death certificates with bond numbers, each one separate, on bonded paper, on the death certificate, another security. Gee, folks, I tell you what, we tightening up all the loose ends on this thing from all perspectives. You gotta love it. It ain't, folks. This ain't no joke. The joke's on us.
Cynthia here. I also want to let you know that there was, in fact, a news report on the media about corporate employees. The company would essentially take out a life insurance policy, and when the employee died, the corporation would profit from the life insurance policy that they took out on their employee without even notifying the employee that it was done.
Yeah, Walmart does that.
The military does that, folks.
The military does too. Everyone does.
$10 million policies on every soldier, sailor, Marine, but the wife doesn't get no compensation. They just send it back to the corporation because now they got to reinvest back to have another slave come out and fight some lie of a war under the guise of patriotism or democracy or whatever scam they're pushing today, folks.
Yeah. And in relation to the signature, I've been noticing that when you do the digital pad signature, there's a printout, and what I found very curious, and this will validate what you're saying, is that their register tape will literally cut off the signature portion, and they will give you the printed part, but they will keep the segment that has the printout of the signature.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I do want to bring something up now that you've mentioned that. Look at us go here. If people haven't been noticing the change in the system with regards to cops in particular, gone the days where they would give you a clipboard and a pen and ask you to sign the document because they know that layer has been peeled off and they'd be committing fraud blatantly. And that's why now it is only a police officer and only gives you a copy. It is the police officer that signs all the tickets. So not only have they made the claim, but the cops themselves have monetized it. And this is where we start getting the bounce back in terms of bonds making claims because they're the one who monetized that piece of paper. It's the bond that's going to have to pay for it. It has nothing to do with you.
Well, I've got a question for you on that. If, in fact, it is not a wedding signature, but rather a digital printout of a signature, is that, in fact, a valid document by the fact that there's no wedding signature?
Yes, it is.
Sweetie, the wedding signature doesn't apply here. Let me share with you. I'm going to give you a little class today. Okay? In their manual, in their system of records, it says, and that's why they want you to sign everything in black, because you're a stinking dead entity. They hypothecate the dead entity's sin, the signature. So the wedding signature, they can't have they don't want wedding signatures because that's a live man. We can't have no live man putting his friggin' name on the dead. Matter of fact, I covered this with a lady at the bank, and she was blown away because I gave her the nickel tour and basically shared with her. I said, matter of fact, it states in their code, black ink. It's in there. I'm gonna find this. I have it in my pile of thousands of papers. I'm going to find that. I'm going to scan it in the computer so everybody can read it for themselves because that's why they want you to sign everything in black ink because you're a dead, stinking entity, like under the SUV Act under 1666. You can't make this stuff up, folks. I found a lot of pieces of the puzzle, and that's just another one of them. Anyways, onward, sweetheart. Go ahead. Anybody have any takers?
Yeah, and actually I have another caller here. I'm just going to bring them in, do what they have to ask, and we want to get through this document, so if there are questions, please keep them, and it would be great. Area code 562-394. You're going live on Outside the Box. So your mic is now, there you are, your mic.
Hi, Hi,
Very
this is
fast.
Austin. I'm just listening right now. I'm going to be hitting the road. I went from listening on the online to transferring to my cell phone, but love what you guys are talking about. I've been studying, scratching the surface on a lot of this stuff for a number of years, and really thankful that you guys are finding all this great information about the bonds. Seems like a great way to go. And I think that there's going to be a landslide of folks doing good things and canceling out a bunch of debt and getting out of trouble as a result of all the good things that you're doing. So thank you.
Plantation. No problem. And you just take me on Skype. I've added you to my Skype room as well. So stay tuned, and we'll definitely. There's much to learn, and glad to have you aboard. And we just so I'll put you on hold. So listen in, and any questions, you know how to get a hold of me direct now, don't you? So please feel free. I'm here. I'm a servant. So let me know what I can help with. So I'll put you back on hold.
Okay.
No problem. All right, so we have another caller, area code 920-265. Your mic is hot. You're live on Outside the Box. What you got?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure. This is my first time on the show. I know all about you, and I know all about the birth certificate, so I'm just going to listen.
Okay, well, glad to have you, and I'll just put you back on hold. And again, oh, yeah, go ahead.
Actually, I had Skyped you a couple of weeks ago in regards to the James McBride paperwork.
Okay. What's Skype tag?
Basically, I have all of the paperwork, and I'm sitting on it. Unfortunately, I could not.
Hey, sweetie, I'm going to interject. I'm going to cut you off. We're going to cut to the quick real quick here. I'm in the Divine Province. You need to go through the front door, sweetie, and I will post the address of where not the address, but I will post the live new website that we have just created that allows everybody to go through the front door. And your documents will be done online, and you won't be sending them off to anybody. You won't need no blood. And we just made this so much easier for our brothers and sisters to come over the finish line. So instead of digressing about the documents, just take a big breath. It's all good. We just opened up a whole new door for you, and you'll be able to take your conveyance out of Mammon, USA Inc., and anything else you want to take off the slave plantation.
And that works worldwide. So tag me again on Skype just to give me a refresher, and definitely we'll have a chat. Okay?
Okay, thanks.
No worries.
You're welcome. See, now I like to be able to cut to the quick. We don't have to wait half an hour here. She doesn't know about the changes. I just gave her the heads up. I gave her the QC.
Yeah, exactly. And just to let people know, just got tagged here, as far as there is a fee of $60 because computers and people's help is not free. And it takes a few days because it goes through PayPal. We all know the hassles of PayPal. So I will just let people know that. But here's what you get. You get your freedom and your life back for $60, and other people that have made it possible for you to walk right through the front door by the hand, and you can keep your mitten strings for a little while too. Even how's that? That's a pretty good deal.
Even though I had James McBride do the paperwork.
Yeah, it's all good.
Hey, sweetie, we all come through the front door. I did too. I did all my paperwork months ago. So this is how we get you entered into the Chancery rolls correctly, procedurally, so you go into the system of records and the database, so we can make all the parties involved that you're no longer in USA Inc.
Okay. I'm not seeing you posting it up on the chat board.
Oh, he's not on the chat board, so what I'll do is I'll crack that open, and I'll put it. Are you in the freedomreigns.us chat room?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay, I know who we've got here. Thank you so much for calling. Nice to hear your voice, love. Okay, where are we here? I'm gonna post it in the room. So just give me a second here, and it'll be there momentarily. So I'll put you back on hold, and then I'm going to get Peter to rant and rave again. Okay, so I'll see you in the chat room in a second.
Okay.
All right, Peter, carry on, my friend. You're doing
I don't even care if we don't get through it all. They got it all for their consumption. They can read the rest themselves. We get to where we get. This is still outstanding. I love Outside the Box. It's always good. Anyways, let's cover the reissue of the secondary securities, the birth bond. Excuse me. Okay. As you may suspect, the purpose of the birth bond is to leverage more securities for the security scam template described in this article. The profiteering begins when the birth bond is traded dollar for dollar for money issued by the Federal Reserve. Permitted, anyways, yeah, I'm repeating myself, but oh well. Anyways, permitting Treasury to place the money into circulation under the premise that it is backed by the people's full faith and credit. The bond is transmitted by the Fed to the Depository Trust Company, where it is placed into safekeeping for the purpose of reissuing a vast array of derivative securities, each one written against the pledge and designed to elicit your consent for profiteering. That's when they get you to go into court. You give them consent. You give them your sin, and they love to monetize your sin. Anyways, let's go into a registration under subsection 10 on page 7. One of the most seemingly benign cogs in the uniform securitization scam, registration is the process by which a creditor registers a security interest against the owner. Registration is a pernicious method used to take control of legalized property by a genuine or presumed secured party under protection of the legal franchise, USA Inc., and its incorporated judiciary. Here are some excerpts from the 12-paragraph operational arrangements published by the Depository Trust Company, DTC, to govern the DTC direct and indirect participants. Number 1, the Depository Trust Company of New York, will act as securities depository for the securities, and the securities will be issued a fully registered securities registered in the name of Seed and Company, DTC's partnership nominee, or such other name as may be requested by an authorized representative of the DTC. Number 2,
Peter?
Yeah.
Before you go to number 2, I need people to pay attention to not only the spelling but the sounds of the words and start getting the as above, so below here. Registered in the name of Seed. Oh, I get it. S-E-E-D. Sounds the same. People, that's the trickery of spellings, the letters. Okay? They will spell it one way, but it sounds the same. Right, or right. Okay, so pay attention. As above, so below. This is the black magic we speak of. So carry on. Number 2, Peter.
All right. Purchases of securities under the DTC system must be made by or through direct participants, which will receive a credit for the securities on the DTC's records. The ownership interest of each actual purchaser of each security, i.e. beneficial owner, is in turn to be recorded on the direct and indirect participants' records. The beneficial owners will not receive written confirmation from the DTC of the purchase. You know who the beneficial owner is, folks? You. But they never make you aware. Isn't that special? So there it is in black and white. The birth bond is registered to the benefit of the DTC. The DTC will not even mention the beneficial owner, the beneficiary, in its records. By combining the terms beneficiary, the sole party with right to enjoy the fruits of the security, sort of like a usufruct, with owner, the party that's liable for...
Key word, sole party. Okay, pay attention, S-O-U-L. Something else, too, that people need to... Every time you see the word ship, it translates into ancient etymology. It means mind. So look at the words and listen to them. Owner, mind. Citizen, mind. Okay? Ownership, citizenship. Anytime you see the word ship, that's what they're referring to. Okay? Here we go.
Yep. So by combining the terms beneficiary, the sole party, S-O-L-E, they stole your soul, S-O-U-L, with the right to enjoy the fruits of the security with owner, the party that's liable for all the debts and injuries caused by the security. You have been reduced to the lowest common denominator, an owner. Forget the adjective beneficial. You don't matter at all. Your only right is to order the sale of the security to the next hapless owner. If this is hard to accept, ask yourself who suffers when the value of the stock certificate registered to the DTC suddenly falls. The owner, that's you, who pays the margin. The owner, you. Who sells at a loss? The owner, you. Who makes a profit on the sale by having locked it in its position as a holder of the security? The depository trust company. Wow. Talk about a lopsided deal, folks. I feel like, God, no, they didn't even provide any Vaseline on this one, Kate. This is not a good deal.
No,
anyways,
no. That's straight there and let it rip.
I didn't even get a damn kiss out of this gig. I mean, this is pissing me off. Anyways, conversely, as stated by the DTC, the direct participant, the financial institution that made the deposit, in this case, the Fed, will be credited with the value of the security. This means that the DTC will post the birth bond on its books as a credit to the direct participant, not you, allowing the direct participant to enjoy the increase in net worth, to borrow against its future value, to post between 3 and 10% of the bond's value to the direct participant's reserves, thereby allowing the direct participant to lend out at least 9 times the value of the securities using your pledge as a source of credit. Folks, the 9 times crap, yeah, every time you make a $1,000 deposit in your bank account, they're loaning out 9 times that amount. That's called fractional reserved banking. I mean, shoot, if I could do that, man, I'd be the richest guy alive. I mean, let me expand my credit balance times 9. But they're doing it, and you're getting the bloodbath. You got to love it. Hey, folks, it's all smoke and mirrors, and it's, nobody's happy until somebody loses an eye. Anyways, so while your estate pays all the bills assessed against the straw man, the Fed enjoys the value of your pledge. It is through the book entries described in this article, in particular the posting of value in the reserve accounts of Federal Reserve banks, that the public taps into your estate without your knowledge. In other words, if a court wishes to assess your estate, it deposits the indictment. Yeah, okay, now we're getting some court stuff. Let's have some fun. It deposits the indictment security into an account opened in the name of your straw man and charges the estate by issuing an arrest warrant security to bring you in for the purpose of consenting, at the end of a gun, to the assessment. There you go. Forced compliance at the end of a gun does not a valid contract make. Anyways, meanwhile, it is trading against the reserve, posting by issuing and trading a case bond issued from the same account. Wow, that's a mouthful, Kate.
Yeah, it's actually more than a mouthful. That's a mindful. And people, honestly, I don't care how many times you have to read this document. And please, every time you see United States, you might as well just put in corporation, Crown Corporation, whatever corporation. It is irrelevant. Everything is going back through the DTC. There's again, when we're dealing with Washington Direct Current or New York in particular, you're dealing with, it's all money, guys. Every lawyer that we've ever had fess up said, hey, it's nothing personal, it's just business. And that's all this is. So let's start doing our own business, and we're working. I've got enough information on my page, so does Peter, and we're working to try to get people into a position of empowerment where this isn't rocket science, guys. This is very simple. Once you understand what it is that they've done, you can't undo anything until you know how they did it and find out who is the most culpable. And like I said, in the case of municipalities and cities and everything else, the only free will elected judge in Canada is the mayor of each town. So they are actually the mayor's court. They are the highest authority and therefore culpable for all agents below them. So if you're going to go looking for a bond to make a claim against, you go through risk management services of your local city hall, and you go after the mayor's bonds, because they're the ones that are liable for all their cops and their chiefs and the lawyers and even the courts, because anything that is in that jurisdiction within their city limits, they are culpable for. That is their turf. They have to take care of it. That's the chains of office, guys. Time to chain to it.
Kate, I lost you. You got to love it. They knocked you out the box. Yeah, we're thinking outside the box. That's all right. I'll carry the ball until you get back in. I'm going to go on to
I'm here.
The reissue. Oh, okay.
I'm here.
Well,
just want to let everyone know, all courts, any building or corporation is set up, and I don't care if it's a circuit judge, anyone that walks into their jurisdiction, the mayor is fully liable for them, and the actions of any agents, be they crown, corporate, doesn't matter. Anyone that walks into their city limits, the mayor is culpable. That is the bond you go after in terms of making a claim for any damages done by any of their minions. That includes lawyers who are officers of courts. Carry on, Peter.
Okay. Yeah. It seems when I talk, I'm not getting the befuddled deal. When you talk, they try to blotch you out. So I guess I'll just keep running my pie hole.
You run away. I've got it. It's all good.
Hey, we're getting there. Hey, it's 8:34, and hey, do you know where your children are? You know, it's all good.
Exactly.
We're on page 8. Like I say, Kate, the objective was not getting through this. The objective was just getting it out there. Everybody gets a free copy. Hello, free copies for everybody. Print them, send them to your brothers in arms over there at the courthouse. They'll love you for it. That you really know they really. You know, I'd like to post on the top of this thing, we really know you're screwing us now, you know. Just go ahead and hand out to the clerks of the court and the dadgum DAs and the freaking judges. I mean, boy, talk about, you know, what are they going to do, shoot me? I mean, whatever, you know. Hey, you know what, the poop's out.
I was going to say, there's something very important to know. The lawyers and judges, and for the most part, I'd say about 90% or more, haven't a clue about what's going on. They don't have a clue.
Like Dean and I talked about, it's compartmentalized.
Yeah, they are kept dumber than us because they want people to be empowered through money and greed and ego, thinking they're doing the right thing, and those are the easiest to control. It's basically roll over, here's your treat. Play dead, here's your treat. And that's exactly how they control these guys. I have nothing but pity for them. But that pity does not allow for forgiveness if they, through a willful act, harm me. That's what they want to experience. So I'm going to follow the golden rule and let them experience it back. See how they like it. That's what they wanted.
I just want to go see if the DA's got some skin in the game. I just want to see the hazard bond, because otherwise I want him to stand in there with his mealy little mouth and standing there in his full commercial liability, so you know he can put his butt on the line. Because, like I say, the whole scam with this whole system is they stole your bond. They did a bait and switch on it when they drafted you for performance on the front end, and they're using your bond that you weren't supposed to know that. So, yeah, go talk to your friendly DA and tell him, hey, bring forward your hazard bond. I really hope you're not flying without a net, because that would have deleterious effects on you, protecting the state from its full culpability and liability as an LLC corporation, and that could have devastating effects. Might have to shut down the whole damn county. That would really suck. But no, that's all right, because they got plenty of funds that they stolen in the CAFR account. They got plenty of freaking money. It's really good, folks. They got piles. Yeah, they keep sending you debt instruments and telling you that they're broke and they got more money than God.
Yeah, and something else too. Anytime you see a law firm with LLC behind it, you know what they're saying: limited liability corporation. And before the show's out here, I want to let people know, because we do have a lot of listeners every Wednesday and Friday on Outside the Box. You know that. We actually had 11,700 listeners on Wednesday night with you and Dean and me and Patrice rocking and rolling. But we have a new show tomorrow night starting same time, 7 to 9, with Gina. It's called A Bit of Twisted Wisdom, as far as that's what I was told. And the concept behind it is where it's to shine a ray of light into the darkness and helping people have a better understanding of the method behind the madness. So there is a little tidbit of information for people for tuning into Freedom Reigns tomorrow night. It's a brand new show that's coming on, and we're seeing how much fun Gina's going to have. So there you go. Beyond that, tune in tomorrow night. You're going to figure out a whole lot of stuff. We're starting to get things moving along here. But Peter, I need you to keep going on this document hardcore.
Okay. Well, yeah, we're getting there. Next, number 12, for those on page 8 at the bottom, reissue of secondary securities, the Social Security bond. Oh, boy, we're going to talk about the Social Security bond, folks. Let's have some fun. The next security issued by Treasury against the pledge is the Master Social Security bond. The purpose of the bond is to create a trust upon redeposit, which will be used as a vessel to transmit public debt, entice the estate to act publicly as a surety for your portion of the public debt, and transmit funds to the English Crown Trust. Well, hey, let's just hold the phone there, Kate, because inquiring minds want to know, for all you folks that have filled out for a driver's license, I'm willing to bet my eye teeth not one in a million you have actually read the dadgum document. I had the audacity and the capacity to actually read the last time I was up for renewal for a driver's license in this the thriving metropolis of Abingdon. And when I went and read the document, it said, I couldn't believe it. I almost had a stinking heart attack. I said I couldn't believe what I was reading. And I showed it to my wife. I said, check this out, Nina. You're going to love this. It says, you are a vessel in commerce. It says it right on the damn document, folks. The irony is they're playing close to the vest with that document. You can't find it in a PDF. You won't find it in a law library. I mean, you can find just about everything else. But these DMV motor vehicle places, they won't let you take that document out the dadgum door. I wanted to take it home with me because I wanted to look at it further. I also wanted to scan it to my computer so I could show all the folks that have been getting whacked that they just created themselves as a vessel in commerce in commercial gain. That's why the cop can write you a ticket. The revenue generation agent completes the process, but you help them by getting insurance, by having the license, and by having a registration. It's ironic. All these words actually mean something, folks. So you completed the Gordian knot for them to basically get penal sums of money out of you so they could draft the estate and make some more money. So it's very interesting that they talked about the vessel, and that's what I wanted to cover on. It says it on pretty much every state. I'll bet my eye teeth. I just happened to actually read it and said vessel in commerce. And I said, I'm not filling this one out. Screw this. I'm done with this game. I haven't had a license in years. Don't need a license. You know what? It's all good. Anyways, let's move forward on to subsection 13, opening an account in the Social Security. Following the Uniform Securitization Scam blueprint, the Treasury authorizes the opening of an account to receive the Social Security bond for the customary purpose of leveraging securities. Subsection 14, reducing status to a number, SSN. Unlike the birth account maintained by the county and the Secretary of Treasury, the Social Security account is assigned a new name and number in all caps, John Henry Doe, with a new set of digits for the purpose of identifying various derivative bonds to be issued from the account against your estate, your pledge. Boy, they're just special. They're just so special. Anyways, we'll go to 15, recording a general deposit relinquishing title to the Social Security bond. As previously described regarding the birth bond, the master Social Security bond is deposited generally into the Social Security account. So we get to 16. It says creating a trust, Social Security trust. As with the transfer of property, the deposit of the Social Security bond creates a trust relationship. Over the years, the Social Security trust, that name in all caps, John Henry Smith, ID, whatever the digits are, has become notorious, but the purpose of the trust is worth repeating. The Social Security trust will be used as a vessel to transmit public debt, entice the estate. That's why they ask you for a Social Security number when you go to apply for the driver's license, folks. They've got you stepping in to do business. Got to make some jack. It's all good. Anyways, they as a vessel to transmit public debt, entice the estate to act publicly, because you're in public when you have a driver's license, as a surety for your portion of the public debt, and transmit funds to the English Crown Trust. Boy, what's up with this English Crown Trust? Anyways, I'm being facetious, Kate. I know exactly what it is. I just like to ask stupid questions because I can. Anyways, the Social Security Trust is...
It's that very valid thing that you bring up, because all these people, Constitution, I'm American, and all the rest of it, and they're going, yeah, but you know where the money's going? It's going to the City of London, guys. It's going to the English Crown. That's what the Crown is. It is the Crown Corporation of the City of London state thereof.
It's the bank, hey folks. It's the bank. It's not the damn Queen. It's the bank, and it's tied in under the Vatican. And no, folks, we're not under the Vatican. For those of you who think we are. We need to give you a speed reading class on that as well. So for those who have made those inferments over on the Skypes I've seen and stuff like that, Ignorance is bliss. Nobody's willing to read anything, so they don't know anything. This is a sad state of affairs, folks. You got to start actually reading stuff so you'll get some clarity of mind. I'm just trying to share with you. Read up on the PMG and the original jurisdiction. It'll give you a lot more clarity on where we're coming from. We're not under anything. Anyways, let's follow forward, Kate, with the Social Security Trust is a manifestation of debt. It is a debt and nothing more. Internalizing that understanding is helpful to returning control from public officials to the rightful beneficiary that issued the pledge. That's the whole purpose for the divine province. We are moving, if you don't like what they're doing with your estate, you have the capacity and the ability to move it. That's all we're doing, a simple business administrative decision. Anyways, onward we go to the trust directives. The terms of the trust are all the rules and regulations complied in the United States Code and statutes and Code of Federal Regulations. And guess who's obliged to obey them? Only the slaves on the plantation under 14th Amendment statuses. Anyway, so let's go to presumptions, and that's in subsection 17 on page 9. The Social Security Trust is the vehicle used by public officials to plunder your estate. Upon the deposit of the Social Security bond, the Department of the Treasury, through the IRS, is the trustee of record, but the government bank would rather be the beneficiary. So in order to presume that the United States is the beneficiary, the Treasury presumes that the strawman account is also a trustee. Bad position to be, folks. We aren't trustees. They just tricked us into being one. Anyways, of the Social Security Trust, with the obligation to perform all the trustees' duties under the public trust.
Quick jump in, Peter. Quick jump in, because everything under Lex Merchantorium, i.e. Commercial law, everyone is considered a merchant of law. When you understand and realize that you are an equal to them in and before the law, what that is saying is everything is done under assumption or assumpsit. And once you proclaim and know within yourself and let them know that you are an equal merchant of law, all assumption and presumption is thereby nullified. So I'm just trying to show how many pieces we can knock out of this and how many balls are getting knocked out of the park tonight. So carry on. You were at duties under the public trust. So maybe I start that paragraph again, but I want people to keep that in mind, that you are a merchant of law as the assumption in their eyes, an expert in commercial paper and negotiable instruments. You can look that up under, I believe, some UC 314. Memory serves?
Yeah, it's a negotiable, the negotiable instruments law. I got a hard copy. I got a copy on my desk. Anybody who wants to read that.
Well, it's on my blog page. It's on my blog page, so it's all there, guys. Court remedy. Just get there. Or suijuris.me or oncourtremedy.wordpress.com. It's all there. You don't have to go far. We've told you where it is. Go get it. Take your mittens off. Cut the strings.
Yep. Hey, folks, we can't come to your house and spoon feed you too. We'd love to, but time constraints do not allow. So, folks, that's why we put all this structured information together. We don't want you to have to go searching far. We want you to get the truth straight up with both barrels. Don't be afraid. It's painless. But what's painful is if you continue to operate in the lie, in the false paradigm. So this is the objective here, is to shake it. And we're going to give you irrefutable proof at all levels, especially those who don't think there's such a thing as a birth certificate bond. I'd be more than happy to send a copy to everybody who'd like one. Anyways, it's not like you can tap into it and use it anyways. Let's go back to under the presumptions. Anyways, after you accept the offers to operate as a trustee on 3 occasions. Gee, where does this stuff with threes keep coming up, Kate?
Well, again, it's all about the as above, so low. The threes, that's the Holy Trinity. Okay, that's the herself, itself. I'll get into the ethereal side of that. Let's just stick to the physical, that people understand. This is the call, okay? Listen to the words, know what it means. Power of the Spirit, Spirit calling it. So, carry on.
Anyways, after you accept the offers to operate as a trustee on 3 occasions, the presumption is fulfilled. From then on, the strawman will be treated as a vehicle. i.e., transmitting utility public debt assessments to the estate by charging the straw man for the liability. The stranglehold of the uniform securitization scam on our lives is broken when we reverse the process and use the SS Trust to transmit funds from the estate to the assessing party upon our express authorization. The name of this process is set up. And, Kate, I really don't want to get off into maybe the rest of this. Let me take a look at it and see what I do want to cover that's meat and potatoes, because maybe we'll cover just a little more, because I'm not telling anybody to do anything. You know what I'm saying? Because this guy sort of goes off into what you can do. I am not advising anybody to do anything. Stand fast. Do not do anything as far as the rest of this document you'll read. Even my brother Bill says the same thing. So, but we'll cover the uniform.
Yeah, Peter, it's good. You know, just again, what we are doing is offering an education here. These are things that I have done and will do. No problem is I know who I am, I know what I am, and I know what I'm capable of. And they, more importantly, know who I am. And they don't like me. And I'm glad they don't like me, because I don't want criminals liking me. Fair?
Yeah.
I think it's fair. That's just me, though. I'm a bitch.
Oh, well, hey, anyway, I do want to cover this next subsection. It's dealing with my favorite court again. Anyways, let's check the uniform in uniform. Every public transaction mimics the uniform securitization scam. During the $700 billion bailout of 2008, the Treasury issued $700 billion in bonds. The Fed issued $700 billion of U.S. money. The bonds were exchanged for the funds and then deposited with the DTC following the U.S. security scam model. When a prosecutor lodges an indictment with a court, the court opens an account. The indictment or information is deposited generally, and an arrest warrant is issued against the indictment, which is presumed to be backed up by the pledges manifested in the estate. They're going after the all-caps name, folks. That's what we're telling you. That's why you have no position in their courts. When an attorney lodges a complaint with the court opens an account. Gee, sounds like we're talking about bonds again. Damn, that bid bond, performance bond. Gee, that's what they're doing in the back room. Oh, yeah. Okay, never mind. Anyways, the complaint is deposited. Huh?
No problem. You carry on. By the way,
I'm going sideways. I'm getting whacked here. It's all good.
I know, me too. And just so you know, guys, Deatra is in Mississippi at the moment, educating some of these lawyers that finally got some of this stuff to light, and they wondered what was going on. And this is how we win, guys, educate them and understand they have a choice to make. They have a choice to either continue on in the scam, and now it's an act of commission, a willful act, where it has been an act of omission because they had ignorance of it. So this is about educating them on the inside. Just let me know we got 9 minutes. We got 9 minutes left. And one more thing.
We got plenty of time. Take a Valium, Kate. It's all good. Matter of fact,
Peter, I want to invite you back on Sunday. I'll take home on Sunday from 7 to 9, and we'll complete.
Okay. Anyways, that'll be fine. What you were talking about is when they have full knowledge and culpability of a crime, they become parties in the act. It's called misprison of a felony. Gee, why would I know this crap? Anyways, folks, I do like to dig in. I do read a lot of stuff, and misprison of a felony is basically this. If I bring forward and broach an issue to a public pretender that there's been a crime committed, and he fails to bring it forward to the next higher officer, he becomes culpable in the crimes under misprison of a felony, and it does have, I think some jail time, like 20 years, and some other things attached to it. So once he has full knowledge, or she has full knowledge of the criminal act, once you brought it to their attention, so as not to be charged with that same charge of misprison of a felony, you are enlightening them, but now they hold the bag of poop, so to speak. So if they fail to bring it forward, because you're going to bring it forward to the next level, I won't even get into all that. I love misprison of a felony. I actually used it, and I got them out of my back pocket and got all my funds returned from the state of New Hampshire. Me and the state attorney general, he loves me, and he brought forward on a third-party scum-sucking bottom feeder the truth, and they actually released all my funds when I broached the information on misprision of a felony to him, because now he had full knowledge. So, in essence, to make this problem go away, they just returned all my funds because of the unlawful act they did. Because, anyways, that was sort of exciting to me. Anyways, onward and upward. Let's cover this. When an attorney lodges a complaint with the court opens an account, the complaint is deposited generally, and a summons is issued against the indictment. The indictment is a piece of paper, folks. That's you with the name on it, the fiction, which is presumed to be backed by the pledge, which is your assets, your estate, as manifested in the estate. When you make a withdrawal from a bank, the bank endorses your draft paid to the order of, thereby creating a new security which it posts in its books and exchanges for Federal Reserve notes, securities of equivalent value. So when you issue a mortgage promissory note, the bank opens an account, deposits a note, generally thereby taking title to the funds, posts it as an asset and an offsetting liability at the full value of the bank note. So, folks, what they're saying here is, like, when you took out that mortgage, let's say it was a $100,000 mortgage, and over 30 years it would amortize at $300,000. They're actually, when you put your signature on the dotted line, so to speak, you created the full $300,000. They pocketed the $200,000, gave the $100,000 to the owner or whoever in worthless Federal Reserve notes or a check, but they hypothecated the full amount, and they're going to multiply it out times 9 times and create more securities on that $300,000. Folks, you got to love this Ponzi scheme. I mean, this is why our whole country is in the crapper. Anyways, onward and upward. I get excited.
Hey.
I forgot to take my medication.
All right, Peter, we got
Yeah.
like 5 minutes here.
I know.
Hang on.
I'm watching.
Okay. No, I just asked Gina to quickly call in to intro her show. We have a couple of minutes. Just give her a minute or two to tell everyone what we're dealing with. But the invitation is for you and Patrice, who is in the chat room right now, to join me on Outside the Box for another special edition on Sunday night from 7 to 9, where we can continue this. So put a bookmark of where we're at right now, and that way I can get both shows put together on my court page, and that way everyone can be in the know. So just waiting for Gina to call in. She's calling in on the landline, 714-868-0749. And people need to know this, Peter, and I can't thank you enough. Honest to God, man. This is perfect. You really created an opportunity. I've been wanting to bust this deal wide open for the last month and a half, and we now had the capacity. You know what? The time wasn't right a month and a half ago, but it sure as hell is right now. Well, people are thinking now, Peter, and this is why. And guys, you listen back, and you can hear the passion of Peter and the passion of myself, and how desperate we are to get this information to you, because we're tired of seeing you harmed, and we will call you an idiot and a moron until you get it. And it's not because we don't like you; it's because we want you to wake up. We need you to snap out of it. We need you to have that resilience. We need you to have the ability to stand. That's all we're after. We want this so badly. It breaks my heart, and I know it breaks yours, Peter. We've talked about this many times. You know, when people call in or Skype or email, whatever, and they're asking questions that we've already answered, it's like, guys, we just need you to wake up to what we're doing and get in that now moment. I talk about the now all the time, and it's critical. When you're in the now, you cannot be controlled, and this is what screwed their game up. When you're in the now, you have that ability to change the game. Source, you are the universe. And you think this, the commercial game that they have here is a complete mimicry of natural law. And once you understand that, once you get that, you'll really grasp what it is we're talking about here. But in the meantime, I just need people to realize what it is that Peter's sharing with you guys tonight. And I don't know about you, Peter, but my life is just as valuable as anyone else's, and I've poured my life into this as you have. And I'd just like to know it wasn't wasted.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. You know, so again, I can't thank you enough. And Cynthia, God, I mean, David down in Australia. Here's the thing, Peter. Most people don't even know what's going on behind the scenes with me. I deal with, countless people every day, and I've got people working with me, helping me, and I'm helping them around the world. And this is why the pincers are moving in on these guys. We're hitting them from as above, so below. And what Peter is sharing with you guys tonight, and this is a blessing of blessings, because now that I've been able to talk with Peter, and I have a full grasp of these documents, and what Peter has done for me is helped me put them into a beautiful alignment. And I'm just a dot connector. I'm just a messenger. Anyway, we got like 2 minutes here. Gina just popped in, so I'm going to get her on the air. But Peter, join me again Sunday night, 7 to 9, and we'll let Gina have the last minute or so here. We got minute 18. So Gina, speak fast. Okay, you're on the line.
Hey guys, great show. Thank you for bringing me in. Brand new show. Helping people to find a little bit of peace within the chaos, I guess. I've learned how to locate the silver lining in each cloud and stay strong in the middle of a storm, and I thought people might be able to benefit from it.
Absolutely, Gina. So don't forget, tomorrow night from 7 to 9 on Freedom Reigns, you can tune in to Gina's show. What are you calling it, just to make sure I get it right?
A bit of twisted wisdom.
A bit of twisted wisdom, Saturday night from 7 to 9, and I'll be there platforming with you and holding your hand through your first show, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say. So we got 20 seconds here. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to Outside the Box. Peter, I can't thank you enough, and I know there are a lot of grateful people out there. Don't forget, go to SuiJuris.me. You can go to levelvermont.wordpress.com and bondcourtremedy.wordpress.com for the answers. They're there waiting. Much love to all. Thank you so much. You've been listening to Outside the Box. I'm your host, Kate of Gaia. Have a safe weekend. Love you all.
You still there, Kate?
I'll call you back on Skype.
Yeah.